it's time. Like I said, my name is Cynthia, and you're welcome to the Data Analyst AMA. And this is where I hope that you are going to get clarity on your analytics career. Please, you may want to turn off your video. I love the enthusiasm anyway. I hope you all can hear me. Please confirm that you can all hear me, either by show of hands or you can unmute yourself and speak. Can you hear me, please? Oh, thank you. All right. Okay, let's get right to it. This is just the event details, and like I said earlier, this is the Data Analyst AMA session, and it's for aspiring data analysts, beginner data analysts, career changers. That's maybe you are in a previous field and you are looking to come into data analytics or even to apply analytics in your career, and that's for non-tech professionals. You know, when you hear of the way data analysis is marketed as a tech skill and all of that. So I want you to be able to see that you can actually utilize data in your field, and if you are able to utilize data in your field, you are going to be miles ahead. Data analysis or data literacy as a skill will put you way ahead any other person in your field. So this is also something I'm hoping to achieve with this session, and the purpose of this session is to help you gain clarity on what data analysis truly is. I think this is particularly important for aspiring data analysts and beginner data analysts, so that you don't just dive into data analysis as a field. I want you to truly understand, so that you don't start and then you realize down the line that you want to stop, or you realize down the line that you are no longer interested in this. So it's to also to help you break into this field and overcome any challenges you may have. All right, so so far, can we hear me before I continue?
Sure, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. These are some of the things that we'll be discussing today. We're going to introduce ourselves, then I'll tell you a bit of story. We're going to have some activities because, like I said, the idea is to help you gain clarity on what data analysis really is. So I'm hoping to put you in a position of what it looks like to be a data analyst, and then some other things that we'll be discussing. So these are some house rules. The first thing I want you to know that this is not a lecture. It is designed to be a conversation, an interactive session. And this is also a safe space to ask questions. There are no basic questions. There are no stupid questions. This is where I would say I'm not a regular teacher. I'm a cool teacher. So, so no question is too basic. No question is too stupid. And please participate in all activities. I think it's wonderful that we are not too many, so that we can really interact. You know, all of us, I can get to answer everybody's question and you know, help us get the clarity that we truly need. And then please keep your mic muted unless you're invited to speak. And of course, you're also going to leave with at least one action that you're going to take this week. So let's start with the introductions. Please introduce yourself in this format. So you can either type it in the comment box, or you unmute and speak. So I'll start with myself. So this is the format you're going to introduce yourself in. Your name, your country or city, your current role, why you're interested in data analysis, and your biggest challenge. So I'll go first. My name is Cynthia, like I said, and I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. And my current role, I'm a data analyst. I'm interested in data because it's one field that does not restrain me. It allows me to be whoever I want to be. I literally can shapeshift with data. I can get to solve problems with data, and I can pivot into any industry I want, courtesy of data. So my biggest challenge with data analysis, or at least when I started, was the confusion. I think one of the things that happened in this AI age is that there's so much knowledge out there, but somehow we are still more confused. So much knowledge, but we do not know how to implement it. We do not know where to look. We do not know which one to, utilize first. So that was my biggest challenge coming into data, and it's still my biggest challenge, especially when dealing with beginner analysts. That confusion is still there, and that's one of the things I'm hoping to help you find clarity with in this session. So let's have some other people introduce themselves quickly so we can go on to the next thing.
Okay, can I go?
Yes, please.
Yeah, my name is Jonathan, based in Lagos. I'm an accountant by profession. Where I'm interested in data analysis, like you rightly said, data is everywhere, and data is the in thing now. Manipulation and presentation of data is just the thing for the moment. For me, my biggest challenge is inability to really play with big data, and that is what I think I want to gain an insight into this training for today. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Is there anyone else that wants to go?
Can I go?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. My name is Timothy. I am based in Lagos. So I'm a graduate of accounting. And in the last maybe the last 10 years or so, been into tech. I started with software programming. But along the line, I shifted. I went to school to study accounting, and there was no consistency. I could not continue at that time. So recently, because of the passion I had for tech, so I was trying to put myself back. I tried to put myself back, and I tried to pick up from data analytics. I believe that with a training and a well-structured roadmap, I can bring myself back to the line. And because of the goal I have for my journey, so I have the targets which I'm working on. But yet, I need to learn and unlearn some things in order for me to achieve my goals. Thank you. But my biggest challenge is that I don't really have a roadmap. Whereas I don't know at least to a large extent, I still understand some tools used in data analytics, like Excel, for example. I know about that. So I know a little bit of SQL. So
Okay.
basically,
So the roadmap
yeah,
is the challenge, like a
this is
detailed
challenging.
guide on what to learn, how to learn it, and stuff like that. Oh, that's good. Yeah, we're going to address that. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move quickly because we have quite a number of things to talk about. So let me give you a little story about me. I did my BSc and MSc in environmental studies, and I think it's very important for me to say this because I want you to see that data analysis is not for any particular field. It's not for only those that studied maths, it's not for only those that study computer science, it's not for only those that study stats. I actually did mine in environmental studies, both BSc and MSc, and I hated numbers. I remember during research in both my MSc and BSc, I hated numbers. Like, someone else handled it. If I'm to be honest, I hated it. And then when I got a job in the bank, I still hated numbers. Can you imagine a banker hating numbers? They would literally deal with numbers, and I still hated it. But I moved quickly in banking, and then I was forced to start doing reconciliations. And that's when I discovered data analytics, and I loved it. And then I was in a customer, in as much as I was in an operations role, but in the operations role in the bank, you are dealing with people. We are those that wicked bank manager that you see. I want to see your manager when you're angry. Yeah, I was that wicked bank manager. So no, operations manager to be specific. So I didn't like it. I was tired of seeing people's faces. I wanted something that where I would just be looking at the numbers and be going like that. So I quickly transitioned, and let me just say one of the three mistakes I made was, number one, not building in public. And that's, I'm always hammering on it. If you follow me on my TikTok page, building in public, posting your work. I did not do that on time because I was shy. As an analyst as a beginner analyst with your ugly dashboards, you just be overthinking it. People say this one does not know what she's doing. But for me, that was a mistake because I watched people with their ugly dashboards get hired faster than me. So, and definitely that's a huge mistake. Then neglecting community. I was on my own, just buried my head working and learning. So I did not utilize community on time. And when I say community, I mean a community of either other data analysts or even other people learning. It should not only be only a community of data analysts, it should be a community of learners. Then I did not build projects on time. I was learning. So at some point I was stuck in tutorial hell, but thankfully I gave myself brain and started building projects. So if there's something I wish that someone had told me starting out, is that data analysis is not easy, but it's very doable. I was one of those people who saw all those learn data, no, not even learn, master data analysis in 30 days, master data analysis in 3 months. It's not as if you cannot learn data analysis or some part of data analysis in 1 month or 3 months. Is that it's not that simple. The learning journey is not that simple. So because I kept hearing all of these things, I felt like something was wrong with me. I felt like maybe I did not know as much book as I thought I knew. And that's because of those fake dreams that they were selling. It is not easy, but it is very, very doable. But if you are finding it difficult, it's completely normal. I wish someone had told me this on time. And then finally, this session is a platform I wish I knew when I started. At least just this beginning thing that I've said, if someone had told me this, it would have given me some kind of respite. So like I like to say, people sell the dream. You see people talking about how data analysis change your life, how you earn 6 figures with data analysis. That's true. But I believe in also the process. If someone is just giving you the end result without giving you the process, that person hates you. That's my philosophy. And that's one of the things I intend to correct using this session. So our first activity, and this one we're going to be very fast. Ignore that 10 minutes there because I want to leave as much time for our question and answer session. So the first way, we are going to role play, and you are going to put on your analytics hat, think like an analyst, and answer these two questions. So for scenario one, you are the chief medical officer of a hospital, notices that patients' wait time seems to have increased. Acting as the healthcare analyst for this hospital, what will you do? Where will you start from? And what kind of questions would you ask? So let me just break it down. Basically, the chief medical officer, let's say the head of the hospital, noticed that for some reason patients wait and he will go in by 5 and come out by 7 p.m. and the same patient is still in the waiting room waiting, so he saw that patients wait time has increased and he decided that, you know what, I don't have time for this shit. Where is our analyst? Where will you start from? I'm not telling you to analyze any data. I want to see your approach. That's basically what I want you to do. So I want someone to handle this. And then for the second one, a church. And I'm using different scenarios so that you will see that analytical thinking applies everywhere. So your parish priest suddenly observed that attendance numbers are dropping. Acting as an analyst, what kind of questions would you ask to diagnose this issue? Notice that everything is about asking the right questions. Where will you start? So I want someone to pick for hospital, and I want someone to pick for church. Please, let's go. You can unmute. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
If for the hospital, the first question is it that the population is increasing and we are having lesser hands to attend to them?
Nope, just that. Let's work with the information we have there. That's the first thing. But I love that approach already. But let's work with the information we have there. That patients wait time, that patients are waiting for too long. Before they will see a doctor, they will wait. Or before they move from consultation room to laboratory, there's a wait time. So I want you to just run me through how you think about it, how you attempt to answer such question.
Okay, maybe I want to know why. Okay, at which point did this start? You understand? Where did this problem, where did it start from? as against now? Like maybe before, is it that things were flowing? Why is it not flowing now? Okay, maybe it will not take us into other areas. So I want to know what is happening now as against before.
Okay, what other question might you ask?
The people in the process, are they efficient? How efficient are they? Are they the right people in the right place? Sis?
Okay, well done. Thank you. Thank you. So let someone for answer for church before we move. What is data analysis? Data analysis, simple definition, the transformation of raw data into better decisions. That's basically what data analysts do. They transform raw data into better decisions. No, we do not just transform raw data into dashboards, although that's the most popular or the most visible thing that it looks like we do. It's not about charts. It's not even about the fancy software that we might use, Excel, SQL, and all of that. No, it's all about better decision. Now I'm going to quickly share a dashboard so you'd understand what I mean when I say better decision. And just give me a second. Right. Can you see the dashboard on the screen? Okay. Thank you. So let me just quickly share. This is a customer feedback dashboard. This is a very old dashboard that I created some time ago, very old, but it's for a hotel, Skyline Towers. Now, this dashboard is what most people see and believe that that's all we do. But everything about this dashboard is designed to lead to better outcomes and better decisions. So let's look at an example now. For this dashboard, purpose of visits or overall rating. Let's start with overall rating. This dashboard has, this hotel has 3.6 over 5. That's average. It's not very high, but it's average, right? And then when you come to this NPS category, for instance, now what NPS means is Net Promoter Score. Now for NPS, I'm sure you must have seen something like this when any business that you use, or even your bank or an organization, and they send you in an email and they ask you how likely are you to recommend us to a friend. That thing they are trying to get is their NPS. They're trying to get their NPS score and their NPS category. So in this NPS category now, we are seeing that bulk of this for all the people that conducted this survey, that's the Skylines customers, we can see that bulk of their customers are promoters. And promoters are the people most likely to recommend. Those are the people that will come to the hotel and be like, oh my God, I enjoyed my stay at this hotel. You should definitely visit. Let's say a hotel like, okay, let me use Skyline instead of mentioning a real brand. So they are the people who go to Skyline and be like, I loved it. My friend Cynthia, we need to go there. Then the passives are those ones that will be like, it's just there, Jerry. There's nothing special about the hotel. It's just there. It's not bad. It's not good. That's what they say. But the detractors, they are the ones that will say, don't near there. That place is a horrible place. Don't go there for any reason. That this is bad, that is bad, but this is that. They will keep complaining. Those are the detractors. Now, looking at this dashboard now, it is the hotel know that on the software, it looks like, oh, a lot of their promoters, a lot of their customers are promoters. But the number of passives and detractors, if we sum them up just by looking at them, you find out that it's more than the promoters. So technically, these promoters is not giving much. It's not that awesome. It's not such an awesome figure, because if you sum up the passives and the detractors, it's still more than the promoters. That means a lot of customers are still not going to recommend them, and that's a lot of money on the table. Do you see? So this, based off this, now we're going to say we need to ramp up our customer efforts. We need to look at it. And now this is not the only thing we will look at. We're also going to go here and maybe look at this average rating by service area, and we see that the least place is the restaurant. People hate the restaurant and they are rating it on average 2.43. That's terrible. That's very poor. So, and you see that the staff, they're actually good because they have the highest rating. So in this hotel, the staff, their customer service is probably good. They're working with the best they can. But maybe when people go to the restaurant, there's water on the floor, the food is not well cooked and stuff like that. So just based off these two now, we are going to say, okay, there is a possibility that if we increase or improve our restaurant services, the number of passives or detractors will reduce and it will add to our promoters. Do you see now that using just a dashboard, we are able to, provide insightful decisions for our stakeholders or our clients? If Skyline Towers now with my clients, dashboard is just one of the ways I was able to, but the ultimate goal at the end of the day was to be able to give them better decisions, and I was able to back it up with data. So that's basically what we do. We help you make better decisions. Everything we do, whether it's through dashboard or whatever, the ultimate goal is better decisions. All right, so let me go back to the slide. Are you guys understanding me so far? So far, so good.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. All right, so, okay, thank you for that. So I want to walk you through how a data analyst works. And I used this dashboard looking thingy because that's exactly how we work. So the first thing we do is identify a problem. And we either identify the problem or the stakeholder hands it over to us. Now, from that example I gave, the initial activity on hospital versus the church, that was a problem. In some cases, we're the ones that are going to identify the problem, but in most cases, your clients or a stakeholder or whoever will walk up to you with a problem that they need solved. So you are going to receive a problem from a stakeholder, and stakeholder is just a fancy word for your clients or your manager or your boss or whoever. So once you go from that problem, the next thing is to ask the right questions so that you can understand the problem. And when you ask the right questions, it does not only help you understand the problem, it helps you form good hypotheses. It helps you define the KPIs and metrics. Now, all of this is just basically asking the right questions will help you know exactly what to measure. Otherwise, if you don't know what to measure, you will just be creating dashboards that have no meaning, that will not help anybody make any decision. So that's the first thing you want to do. So using that hospital example, for instance, one of the things that I would want to know is that, okay, your wait time is decreasing. The first thing I want to know is give me the numbers. What is the wait time? Like, what have you noticed? What happened? What did you see that made you conclude? Then wait time in what area? Is it from consultation? Maybe they are waiting a long time to be able to see a doctor, or is it the wait time from consultation to lab, or is it wait time in order to be admitted? That's an example of me asking the right questions so that I can properly diagnose the problem. And then the next step is to identify and collect the necessary data. So for most businesses, they already have data. But what you want to do sometimes as a data analyst, especially if you're working with small businesses, you'll be the one to collect the data yourself if it does not exist. And you can collect it through forms, through survey, through GA4, all these analytics tools. This might help you collect the data, and then you move on to processing and analysis. That's when you clean the data, you start analyzing it with your Excel, SQL, Python, and all of that to uncover trends. And then you move to insights, and this is where you draw meaningful conclusions from the analysis, where you explain what happened using that hotel that I just showed now, where we saw that passives and detractors were actually more than the promoters. So I began to draw patterns, and that's where I went to the average rating and saw that the restaurants might actually be one of the problems in that place. And that's when I might now give recommendations like, okay, for the restaurant, let us fire the chef. Of course, we'll not tell anybody to fire anybody, but that's an example. Let's say we need to replace the chef and let them, or improve our menu, or make it more aesthetic so that all the Instagram girlies can come around and snap picture, thereby improving our popularity. And then, of course, we track the results. And this, I feel like this is where a lot of people This is what a lot of people forget about, that after making the recommendations, you have to track the results. What happened? What were the impacts of those recommendations you made? It's not just to give recommendations and disappear. What if the recommendation you gave, did not work? So that means you have to restart retracking again and start, reanalyzing, asking deeper questions to uncover till you get that result that you are looking for. So let me give an example here using a bank. So let's say a bank is complaining about transaction failure. So the problem is that, ATM transaction failures have increased by 18% this month. That means there are more people who will go to the ATM and they cannot withdraw. So the first thing we need to do is questions. So I can ask questions like, which ATMs are failing most? When in the bank, there's how we call it ATM 1, ATM 2. So I might want to ask, is it ATM 1 or is it ATM 2 that is failing? And then when I start asking, is the issue location specific? Is it only Lagos ATMs? Are Kano State ATMs having this problem, or is it only in a branch? And then you could also ask which kind of card types are affected. Is it Verve? Is it Visa? Is it MasterCard? And then you can also ask, at what times do failures occur? So that we'll know whether it's because maybe there's a downtime at a particular hour in the day. And then you can also ask, are certain transaction types more affected? Is it withdrawals? Is it payments? There are some ATM cards where you can pay in. So is it withdrawals? Is it payments? Is it transfer? These are some questions to ask. And then we'll move on to collecting the data. We can collect transaction logs. We can look at the error codes. We can look at the branch locations, the card type data. Then we look at the timestamps also. All of this is to make sure that we can be able to diagnose properly. When we collect the data, we analyze it, and then we start deriving insights. And something we might find that, the most failures are occurring on older ATMs during the weekends, and they are linked to 65% of them are linked to a certain network timeout error. This is already such huge insights, and then we can now recommend that, okay, maintenance is required for those affected ATMs. We can upgrade our network connection since network seems to be timing out, and then increase monitoring of weekend transactions. So, and the results, of course, will be something like improved success rates and less customer complaints. Now, if it turns out that after all of this, it does not give us this required results, we'll have to start this process over again till we get the results that we are looking for. Okay, so for those of you that attempted the questions earlier, are you clearer now on, do you see at least a little bit of what you could have done, to answer that question? I hope, it's beginning to make sense to you on how our workflow is as analysts and what our thinking looks like. I hope it's a bit clearer now. You would have opportunities to ask questions, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Oh boy, why is this thing not my slide? So industries that need analysts, is very important for me to share this. And the cocoa, like Nigerians we say, is opportunities are everywhere, from banking to fintech to healthcare to government to consulting. And it's very important for me to highlight this because, a lot of times when we go hunting for data analyst roles, we're either looking at tech companies or startups, or at most banks and let's say insurance companies or telecoms, but there are opportunities everywhere. Hospitals also need analysts, e-com businesses, they need analysts. Even the government, when you hear that, 1 in 10 youths are unemployed, who do you think provides that statistics? It's data analysts. They work with government data and they provide these insights for us. That is why we know that Nigeria's population is in the hundreds of millions. Some people gathered the data from the census and analyzed it, and they came up with those figures. So I do not want you to limit yourself. That's why you see when you say data analysis has no limits, this is exactly what it means. Opportunities are everywhere. Even in the creator economy, a lot of creators also need analysts to work with so that you can help them make sense of their numbers, help them know what to track. For instance, as an analyst now that also works with creator, I know for a fact that virality means shit. Everybody is excited about going viral, but because I understand the numbers, you can go viral and not make a single sale. Heck, I know people that have gone viral, 2 million views, not one single sale. So if you are not analytical thinking, you'll be excited that you've gone viral, blah, 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 but it did not translate to anything. So every industry needs analysts and people who are analytical in thinking. Now, let's do another activity to reinforce what we said, that what we've learned so far. You are a restaurant owner who noticed that your restaurant sales has dropped. What questions would you ask to help uncover the problem? I just need one person to attempt this or chat. Let me look at my participants. Enes Jonathan, Damola Esther, Rodwell, Unduta, Temdukwe. I need someone to attempt this, otherwise we'll sit down here looking at ourselves. Try to identify the problem. True. What questions? The question specifically is, what questions would you ask? Just one or two questions that you would ask. Okay, Temitope, you are breaking off. I like what Jonathan is saying. Check the quality of food served in the restaurant. Beautiful. That's a problem. Yes, that's something that could lead to it. Oh my god, check the current sales against past sales. It's like this person is an analyst. Jonathan, you are banned. If you're an analyst, you are banned from speaking here. You are banned. Let the beginners talk. But I love this angle so much. Check the current sales against past sales. But I think they have checked the current sales against past sales for them to know that there's a 30% decline, you know. But I love the angle of spotting patterns and outliers. Damola Esther, amazing. Was there a change in the restaurant's menu? Yes. There's another one. How neat is it? Ambience. Yes. This is also another issue. For instance, I will not go to a restaurant that the ambience is poor. Like I need a fine place to take my fine pictures. So yes, this is a real thing. Well done, guys. Well done. Thank you so much. That was really, really insightful. So you see, we're putting on our analytical thinking cap. Okay, I see we have another comment even. I'll ask questions like the quality. Yeah, food quality, exactly. Customer service. Yes, food quality, customer service, amazing. Yes, because if you are insulting, you know how we joke in Nigeria that, you know, the more wicked the food server, the sweeter the food. It's not me. You cannot be wicked to me. I will not eat there. So this is very, very, that makes sense. The quality of food. Then how do we retain the customer? Then we're still trying to diagnose the problem. You are running to retaining the customers. But how we retain the customers, this is what we'll find out from, you know, the analysis that we'll do. So well done. Thank you. You guys are nice. You guys are really on fire. Is the staff in the restaurant well motivated? Any grievance? Nice. Is there a new cook change in staff? Amazing. Thank you. Look, you enjoy data analysis. If you love asking questions, if you are very inquisitive and all of that, you will love data analysis. Another thing is that if you enjoy solving problems, because that's exactly what data analysis is all about, solving problems. It's just that we use data to solve those problems. If you enjoy spotting patterns, someone mentioned in the comments about patterns, and that is true. You will draw a line from A to Z, from Z back to C, from C to G. If you enjoy doing that kind of thing, you enjoy data analysis. If you enjoy improving systems, because at the end of the day, everything you're doing with the analysis is to improve the system, okay? It's to improve an existing system. So yes, you are going to enjoy analysis if this is you. And finally, if you are curious, with that curiosity, because there are some analysis you will do, you will sit down there for hours. With that curiosity, you will not be able to do that. Then common myths. The myths in data analysis, you don't have to be a maths genius. Nope. I'm not the biggest fan of maths. I can tell you that for free. You might know a little maths and stats, but it's not that complex, trust me. Then you need a computer science. No, you do not need all of this, trust me. That you need to learn everything. And no, you will know a bit of everything, but you do not need to learn everything. There are so many tools, even beyond Excel, SQL, and Python. There are so many tools that we use, so you can't learn everything. In fact, at the beginner stage, you will just learn Excel, Power BI, Python, and SQL, and that's just because you do not even know where the company will be working with, the one they will be using. That's why you're learning all those things. But there are some places you work, you use only Excel. Do you see? So you don't have to learn everything. And then that AI replace analysts, this is laughable. AI is not replacing analysts. And then you are not too old to start. It does not matter the age you are, you can still become an analyst. Then of course, this is your data career roadmap. Now, okay, let me quickly run through this because there's something we're going to do now. For your roadmap, you're going to start off with the technical skills, of course, and the most important ones for data analysis is Excel, SQL, and Power BI. When you learn this to reasonable degrees, you don't have to learn too much, let's say to intermediate levels. And I do not know how to describe intermediate levels for you now, but you would know when you are able to solve problems with all those tools. You would know. If, for instance, in Excel, you can do up to your pivot table and draw up charts, do a dashboard, you are good with Excel. Same thing with SQL. If you can query, like you can query confidently, you can pull data out of the database, you are good to go. Trust me, a lot of these things you will still learn on the job. That's the fact. Then you need your soft skills, very important. Communication, business thinking, data storytelling, and AI. Yes, I put AI in soft skills because you still need your brain while using AI, so very much needed as a soft skill, but because you will not use it too much. But every other soft skill, communication, you communicate a lot as a data analyst. You need to think critically about the business as a data analyst. I need to know how to tell stories with data as a data analyst. Then your personal branding, that's the new way to actually get a job these days. I kid you not. Like, personal branding makes sure that the jobs comes to you. You don't go looking for them, and you build a personal brand by sharing your work and being known for something. And what will you be known for? In this case, data analysis. Don't try to be known as the guy who can name all the football stars currently in this World Cup. Don't try to be everything at once. Focus on being a data analyst. When you get the job, you cannot pivot. That's the way to do it too. Then network, both online and offline. Tell everybody that you know that you are pivoting into data analysis. That's literally how I got into a boot camp. That was a scholarship. I told someone that I've started learning data analysis, and that's exactly what he did. He sent me a link immediately. He saw an opportunity, and I got in. And for a tech school that was paying, I think, almost 200,000, I ended up paying about 30,000 because of the scholarship, and that's because I told someone. So then another thing, job search. Yeah, that's when you start looking for a job. So for the job search, you send out your applications, and of course you start job hunting. But like I said, if you build a personal brand, it will actually prevent you from doing all of this, because the job market right now is crazy. But even in this job market, I'm telling you that there are people who are getting multiple offers, and that's because of their personal brand. So, but how long does it take? Realistic timeline, 6+ months. Now, can you become a data analyst in less than 6 months? Absolutely, yes, you can. But the thing is, like I said here, if you look at this, like, learning pace matters. Some people learn differently than others, So learning pace matters, consistency matters, and then your portfolio. Some people, it's easier for them to build a portfolio than others, so understandably it will take them a longer time. So these are the things that determine. But 6 months is realistic because you don't put pressure on yourself. You don't have to start making certain concessions. Like, life will happen sometimes. Maybe you lose your laptop gets spoiled, your phone gets spoiled, or something like that. That is why the most realistic timeline is 6+ months, and this is to give chance to be a human being and for life to happen. And life happening is not necessarily a bad thing. Some people already have a job, so they need a more realistic timeline to become a data analyst, right? Common mistakes that beginners make: learning everything at once, like I said. So this learning everything at once falls into 2 categories. Number one is the category of learn everything at once, which is you want to learn Excel, you want to learn SQL, you want to learn Python and everything at once. No, the proper way to learn is, let's say, from 4 to 6 weeks, you learn Excel. Another 4 to 6 weeks, you devote it to learning a skill. Now, I know what you may be thinking, that once you forget, actually, it will look like you forget. Let me not lie to you. It will look like you forget. But trust me, you will not forget. Your brain is taking notes. I felt that way too until I realized that I actually did not forget. Your brain, that's why if you take your time to learn it, you will not forget. The people who feel like they forgot are those who breezed through it. But trust me, if you took your time to learn it, you will not forget even when you go to another tool. Then another mistake people make is tutorial addiction. Me, I was once addicted to tutorial, so I know this one very well. If you are watching tutorial without building any projects, you will not go anywhere with that. Trust me. And if you are watching tutorials without building any project, you are not learning. That's the fact. You can never learn anything without building. Then another thing is no portfolio. Now, with that portfolio, of course, data analysis is one goal that if you don't have a portfolio, you cannot get a job. You cannot get clients. That's the fact. Because they want to see. The talk is cheap. People have to know that you can do that thing that you say you did. Okay, for instance, now that dashboard. If tomorrow I pitch my services to a hotel owner and tell him that I know how to help you make reasonable decisions with your data. I can help you improve your restaurant rating or increase the number of customers you have. They are more likely to believe me when I show them that dashboard, because it will show that I can do that thing. So without portfolio, you cannot go anywhere in this skill with data analysis. Then not networking. I promise you, you cannot do it by yourself. Ever since I told people that, I'm a data analyst and all of that, there is this guy that's taking it upon himself. For instance, let me just use him as an example. Even if he sees analyst role in North Korea, in Russia, he will send it to me. Wherever he sees data analyst opportunities, he's chasing me with it. Why? Because I opened my mouth and I told him, Esther, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. So wherever he sees opportunities, wherever you see opportunities, or you do not see, you meet a human being on the road, or talk to the person. Closed mouths do not get fed. Talk to the person. And then another thing is applying too late. Don't stay learning. Please. You have to start applying. Because you will see, if you are just judging yourself as a beginner that is learning, you will think that you've not learned anything. How would you know how ready you are if you are not applying? If you apply and let's say you get an interview, you fail that interview, that's feedback. That shows you that, that means I'm not as strong in this field. For instance, for a long time, my window function was bad. It was an interview I did that told me that, babe, you really have to sit up. I told myself, you really have to learn these window functions. I was avoiding it. By the time I entered an interview and they asked me on it, nobody told me. I had to give myself brain. So if I did not apply, I would have just felt like, not knowing Windows functions was enough in SQL. Then finally, comparing yourself to others. Please compare yourself to your previous self. Compare yourself, now this is July, compare yourself to June you. If what you know in this July is the same thing with what you knew in June, please and please, I beg you in the name of God, don't relent. But it would be wrong for you to compare yourself to maybe Cynthia, or compare yourself to Favor, or Jonathan is comparing himself to Temtope. Please do not do that, because you do not know people's backstory. You might be comparing yourself to someone who has tutors, private tutors. You might be comparing yourself to someone who they paid money, they are literally begging the person to go and work. The person will not, you don't have access to the same opportunities. You say, oh my God, this person started learning in just 2 months, he got a job. Do you know what the back end looks like? Do you know if he's somebody that has a job waiting for them, they're just begging him to learn a new skill? So don't compare yourself to anybody. Compare yourself with your previous self. That's the only comparison you must be making. Then, what do recruiters actually look for? Of course, the first thing they look out for is projects. No projects, recruiter will not even look at you. What do you want them to look at? Because projects tells them that you can do this thing that you say you can do. Then another thing, in those projects, they're looking at your business understanding. If you are doing a project and it's not making sense, it's not solving any problem for the business, or for that particular business, I beg you, that project is not complete. Let me use that hotel dashboard as an example. So it requires some level of understanding on my own part to be able to diagnose or analyze that data the way I did, right? So business understanding, for instance, requires you to understand the industry. If I did not understand that industry, maybe I would not have done average rating by service place. Let me see if I can even pull it up again. So if I did not understand that industry, I would not have done average rating by service area. I would not have done that. Why? Because I would have just been analyzing any single thing that enters my head. But because I know that there are many service areas in a hotel, there is the entire hotel facility itself, then there's a restaurant part of the hotel, then there are the rooms, then there's the staff. If I did not know or have this understanding of how hotel runs, I would have just done a haphazard project for them and I would deliver it. Meanwhile, compartmentalizing it like this will help them actually know the particular part of the hotel that is giving them the problem, in which case is the restaurant. So do you see, it is very important for you to have business understanding, then problem solving. Your dashboard must be solving a problem. In that case now, that was a customer analytics dashboard. I wanted them to see that their NPS rating is low, that they have more detractors than detractors and passives than promoters. That means many of their customers will not promote it. So I'm helping them solve that problem of unsatisfied customers. Then another thing is communication. Sometimes your dashboard may not even look so good, but the way you tell the story, the way you communicate that dashboard, the way you communicate that project, the recruiter will be like, yes, this person really knows what they are doing. So you really need to, and for you to be able to communicate really, you need to fully understand what you are doing. So if I did not understand my data now, if I did not understand restaurants, for instance, or hotels, I will not be able to tell a good story. I will not be able to communicate it effectively when I'm asked to. Then another thing is your ability to learn. You will not learn everything, like I said. You will not know everything. Even on the job, you will keep learning. But your ability to learn help you stand out. And your ability to learn, how you show it to recruiters is not just saying, oh, I do not know the, although of course you can be honest. If they ask you, you don't know it, you can't kill yourself, Of course, that's not how you say it. You just say, oh, I have basic knowledge in this. That's a better way of answering it. But you show ability to learn in your dashboard. Let's say in that dashboard now, I will tell them straight up that I had to learn how to properly calculate or I would just say I had to learn, who the detractors are and who the passives are in a business. In that way, I will tell them that I learned that the detractors are those ones who yap shit about the restaurants or the hotel, and the passives are those who have a neutral feeling towards the hotel. And initially, I thought that, the bar being longer on promoters meant a lot, but I realized down the line, because I learned what detractors and passives are, I now realized that even with having 900 and something promoters and having just 400 and 500 detractors and passives, it's still not enough. It's not a good score. So hearing that, they actually know that, oh, this person may not really have worked in a restaurant or the hotel before, but the ability to learn is there, and she showed it using this dashboard. Then another thing is that recruiters are not looking for certifications. Me, I don't have any certifications, and to be honest, I don't care about certifications. Now, should you get certifications? Yes, if you want to, but to be honest, you find more recruiters caring about your degree than certifications. Now, what are certifications? Let's see, certifications are things like, oh, that's Google Data Analyst certification, or the IBM Data Analyst certification, or the PL300, that's the Power BI Data Analyst certification, or certifications from Data Camp. Those are certifications, But your degree is what you went to school to do, let's say for your BSc and your Masters. So in that case, recruiters are more likely to look out for your degree. And in that, they're not even looking at what you studied. They're looking at the fact that, oh, this person has their BSc, and that's good enough for them. Okay, so these are the things that recruiters are looking out for. So don't waste your time packing too many certifications. And some of these certifications are expensive. Don't waste your time spending money that you don't have yet on packing certifications. It's not necessary at all. Okay, so it's your knowledge. If you can show knowledge, you can show projects, if you can communicate those projects very well, you're good to go. Then for your next 30 days, this is what I want you to do. So for week 1, career understanding, okay, good. Do you want to learn? Are you ready to put in the work? I feel like this is one of the first decisions you should make if you really want to learn, because data analysis will test you. It will test you. It will test. There are some days you feel like crying, cry. That's fine. If you cry, you clean your eyes and come back. You will see people who you start learning with them and they've somehow landed a high paying job, and you'll be depressed. And you snap out of that depression and get back to learning. There are people, you come online. Let's say you just finished learning marathon 3 hours, 4 hours. You come online and the next thing you will see, I saw this one a lot. You will see someone just say data analysis is dead. AI has killed it, and your hands will just sink. You'll be like, so I just wasted my time learning something that AI has killed. You have to make up your mind. That's the first thing. You have to make up your mind that this thing I want to do it. So you must be ready to learn and you must be ready to put in the work. It's not difficult, but it's also not easy. That's just what I'll say. Then for your week 2, because this is a 30-day plan and I just want you to make fast progress in these 30 days, learn Excel. And you can actually learn Excel in 1 week. In fact, if you have all the time to yourself, like, you can actually learn Excel in 1 day, but I will not advise it because it won't stick. It will actually fly off your head. So learn Excel, learn the simple functions like how to trim proper, how to sum, do aggregations and all of that. Learn Excel, learn pivot tables. There's something called pivot tables in Excel. Pivot tables will help you make sound decisions and aggregate your data in Excel. It's basically very fast analysis. So learn it and learn how to do your pivot chart. Then for week 3, do a simple project. Whether it's a simple dashboard or it's a data cleaning project, you look for a messy data and analyze it. Do a simple project in just Excel. And then for week 4, share your project on LinkedIn and TikTok. Do you know that even doing that, this may sound weird, but even doing this alone, to start with, you're already a data analyst if you know Excel. Let's settle that one now. I know there are many people that will disagree with this, but it's the fact. You're already a data analyst if you understand Excel. Like, there are people who, there's this guy on TikTok and even on LinkedIn and even on Twitter, what's that his name? Is it Ezekiel or so? Calls himself Excel boss. His core strength is Excel. I'm sure he knows other parts of data analysis. I'm sure he knows Power BI and maybe some SQL. But he decided that he wants to learn Excel and learn it well. And he has learned it well. In fact, I was looking at, there was a post he made recently. I think I saw it on LinkedIn also, and he was talking about how he has started his own business. I can't remember the name he called it. All of this from being an Excel analyst. Of course, he knows more than Excel. But he also gets invited to come and teach some companies, train companies to teach their staff how to use Excel. So I'm telling you, like, there's no part of data analysis that is a waste. So if it's Excel you decide to learn it well. If it's SQL, sit down and learn it well. So in this next 30 days, that's why I just picked Excel, because it's the lowest barrier to entry and you can actually use Excel anyway. Most companies use Excel for one thing or the other. You can be the go-to Excel expert even if you don't want to be a data analyst. If you know Excel very well, food will not remove from your mouth. That's a fact. Then, so this is your 30-day plan. This is what you should do. Just focus on learning Excel and sharing your project on Excel. That one already gets you started. It already puts you miles ahead of many people that have been aspiring since the beginning of the year. Since now they are still aspiring. They've not learned anything. So doing this for the next 30 days will actually put you ahead of millions of people. Trust me, many people are just talking. They're not putting in the work. Now, it's time for the Q&A, and this is your chance to ask about from learning to building your portfolio to job hunting to transitioning careers. Let's say you're currently doing something now and you want to move. I think I saw Esther, she's talking about being a nurse and she wants to, become a healthcare analyst. Then tools, interviews, freelancing, careers beyond analytics. So you can ask. So if you want to type it in the comment section, or you want to raise your hand, or you want to unmute yourself, please go ahead.
My question is, how can I improve on that aspect?
That's a very beautiful question, Tentope. Thank you so much for that. So, and this is the problem of many analysts, actually, especially beginners. Even me, I struggled with it. So, the first thing is, let me just settle your mind now. On that banking example that I gave, if you notice, when I was introducing myself, I talked about how I have banking background. So, for instance, now if I'm doing a banking transaction, it is going to be easier for me. Let's say they give both of us now. It is going to be easier for me. Just note this one first and use it to cool your temper. It will be easier for me to analyze banking data than you. It is not because maybe you are dull or because you do not know what to do. It's because I have domain experience in that one. That one alone it gives me some form of advantage, right? So, and this is the first answer to your question, that domain experience helps a lot. If you have been selling food, for instance, or you've been managing a restaurant, or you've been managing a hotel before, if you pivot to analytics and you decided to go in and you are analyzing a restaurant data or something like that, you will do better than somebody maybe who is coming from healthcare. So domain experience, first thing first, helps. Then secondly, if you don't have domain experience, how can you build this? Thankfully, there's AI, and this is where one of the core uses of AI. So if you get a data set now and you are genuinely confused, right? So in fact, before introducing AI, let me tell you how to use your brain to do it. The first thing I want you to do is to take some time and sit with the data. When I was learning data analysis, they used to tell us that you have to know your data. You have to learn your data. So, and if you know, in some data sets, you will see many, many columns and rows. I'll be like, I have to cram all of it. What kind of nonsense is this? So I used to be very, very shocked, like, how can I learn everything that's in my data? Now I understand. It's not that you cram everything in data. What if it's millions of rows? You start cramming it? No. But you have to know what that data is talking about. So every time that you come across a data set, the first thing that you want to do is look at all the columns. Look at all the columns. You must know the columns at the very least, and trust me, it's not hard. So if you're looking at, let's say, transaction data, for instance, when you look at, even just looking at the columns, you will have an idea of what that data set is all about, which is what? Transactions, because you probably see numbers there, you probably see dates there, date of the transaction, you probably see timestamp there. So it's very important for you to know your data. If you know your data set very well, like take at least 20 to 30 minutes just studying your data set before touching anything. Once you can do this very well, then start asking questions like querying the data set. Yes, you're talking to yourself. Trust me, it doesn't make you look crazy. So you just be querying the data set and be looking at it and be like, okay, this is a sales data now. There's revenue, but there is no, okay, let's say there's costs, there's revenue, but there's no profit. Okay, then you can go to Google and ask how to calculate profits. You Google a lot in data analysis. Another thing you can also do is AI. You now describe it. I do not suggest uploading your data. That will cause a lot of data privacy issues, because as a data analyst, you work with a lot of sensitive data, especially those in healthcare and finance. You will throw people's money to ChatGPT, or you will now update with patient information so that the whole world will now know that one bomb boy somewhere has HIV. No, you can't do that now. So what you will do is you will describe the data set. That's why you have to know your data. You will, and in prompting AI, your prompt will be long. Don't try to do say, oh, I have this thing, help me get business questions from it. No, you will sit down quietly like this and be typing it that I have, let's say, healthcare data here with me. These are the columns. Let's say patient name, patient this, that will list the columns for ChatGPT. Then another thing is you want to get some form of context. If you're already working, they will tell you what they're looking for. But if you're not working, if this is you just doing your project, you will tell ChatGPT that generate business questions that I can answer using these data sets. That's what you will tell it to do. And it will do a lovely job. It will give you like the most important business questions that can be answered from this. And it will tell you things that you can answer using that data set. So at the initial stage, and this is a muscle you want to build repeatedly, at the initial stage, it's not going to be easy. Don't force it. As you do more projects, this thing, you will start learning it over time. So don't get yourself about it now. It's as you do it over time. At this initial stage, make sure you first study your data. Then you can put it in, let's say, ChatGPT, the details of that data set, without uploading the full thing and tell it, unless it's a fake or static data, then no problem. But start building that muscle now of not uploading everything to ChatGPT. Instead, describe it and tell it to generate business questions for you that you can answer So that's just the on that business question. That just solves it. For now, use AI and then do a lot of guided projects. When you do guided projects on the internet, you are going to see that you're going to tap into the minds of other analysts. You're going to see the way their brain works and all of that. So don't be afraid of doing guided projects at all. So I hope that answers that question. I'm seeing that we still have more questions. Okay, let me allow Peace to Peace. You can go ahead and speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good evening, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Is it possible to start with our phones, or do we have to get plans to get a PC? I have too many responsibilities that, okay, I'm doing this, and I'm also a data analyst. Will it be too much? So, yeah, that's my question.
Thank you, Peace. That's a lovely question. I think I get your point. Should use a PC. I will not advise using a phone, to be honest. It can be hard. So the thing about phone is that no, you can't actually. I even wanted to say maybe for Excel, but you even can't do it with phone. I'm sure there's a way to force it, but I actually do not see how it will work. A PC is just better. And then a lot of the software that we use in data analysis are very heavy. For instance, Power BI. There are some data sets you'll be loading in Power BI. They are so huge. Your computer will first be taking a deep breath. So it will take some time. So it can be quite heavy. It can be quite heavy. It's a PC. It's a PC, to be honest. A PC is the best bet for this. And yeah, if you just go to any what's it called, laptop shop and tell them that this is what you want to learn with it, they would they will recommend something good for you, but no, you can't learn with a phone. Then on your second question, I think it's a thing of ambition, and as someone that is also very ambitious, you don't have to stop yourself. I'm not gonna lie. I want so many things, so I can actually relate to what you're saying. So the thing is that, so let's say you're a nurse now, right? And you also want to be a data analyst. So the thing is that actually you might have to choose, because as far as I know, nurses, they are very busy. Anything healthcare, they are very busy. So you are a nurse and at the same time you want to do data analysis. Data analysts can also get very busy. As my sister, there's sometimes, because I have a step counter in my phone, and I will look at it. It's only, let's say, in fact, there was a day less than 200 steps for the whole day. When I looked at it, that thing, it was around this time. From morning to night, I had taken less than 200 steps. My legs were swollen. I could not move because I was analyzing one mad data set. So both these two parts can be very busy. So if you want to learn data analysis, for instance, you may have to choose. Do you want to continue as a nurse, or do you do you want to continue as a nurse, or do you want to PC, you want to add another thing? Okay, specific models of PC, I'm going to answer that. Okay, so do you want to continue as a nurse, or do you want to be a data analyst? I do not think that you can combine both. I will not lie to you. I don't know if you can combine both of them, unless you decide to do nursing full time and data analysis as part time. But even that is very hard, because what if you get a full time role? Go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to say something. It's not possible to even combine both roles. The
Yeah.
burnout to be too much.
Exactly.
So I'm actually transitioning. I'm no longer a bedside. I'm not even interested in being a bedside nurse anymore.
Okay.
So
So you actually want to transition full time to data analysis?
I'm actually into like healthcare entrepreneurship. So
Oh,
I feel like that's what I'm saying. I feel like the knowledge
will
of
help
data
you.
analysis will help me
Okay. Yeah,
transform
yeah,
data
yeah, yeah, yeah.
analysis.
That's true. Oh, that's lovely. So what you need then is basic data literacy. Personally, I will recommend that you learn Excel, like learn Excel, then learn data storytelling. And they actually free resources online. You can, go through YouTube and you'll find it, or you take courses, let's say using Coursera. Those ones will be more paid. But what you want is the data literacy actually, so that you can think
I'm
analytically.
writing them down.
Okay, so you can think analytically, so you can interpret data when you see it, because that one is a superpower on its own. Some people will see, let's say, as that dashboard is now, and they will get confused. Me, I can open that dashboard and understand what's going on there because number one, I'm the one that did the dashboard, and number two, I'm actually data literate. But if I just put that dashboard out to the average person, they'll be like, waiting be this. Wait, no, waiting be this now. So you want to build that data literacy, learn data storytelling, learn data visualization, so that even if you hire a data analyst, since you're an entrepreneur, because you can work with other analysts, there's nobody that says you have to be the data analyst. You can employ the data analyst. That's a fact. So even if you employ that person, you are still data literate. Nobody will come and bobo you or make it look as if you don't know what you are doing. So at any point in time, data literacy will pay off. So you're actually on the right track there. So you can either choose to be a healthcare data analyst. In that case, you have to learn your Excel, your SQL, and let's say visualization tool, and do projects in the healthcare sector. And you can also find example of those on YouTube. I can assure you of that. But if you want to just be data literate, so just focus on data storytelling, thinking like an analyst, and data interpretation. That's just basically it. Or how data is used in businesses. I'm sure there are specific courses like that on places like Coursera and let's say Udemy. So you can just take those will help you very well. As for the specs, I'm trying to just give me a second. I have a place I wrote that down. For Windows, I would say like a Windows, because you want to start doing Mac is very expensive, and I don't know, for me, I just feel like there's no point spending too much initially, because there are a lot of things to spend on actually. So I don't feel like you should start spending heavily. So even if you can afford Mac, I'll just say go for Windows, unless you have that extreme spec change, then no problem. And the operating system should be Windows 10 or 11, 64-bit preferred. Then the RAM should be at least 16 gigabytes, and that's because of the heavy software like things like Power BI and Python. I'm recommending like 16 gigabytes RAM. Then the storage at least 250 gigabytes, and that 250 gigabytes is for the tools. You will download other tools, you will download many tools, you will download data sets. There was one data set I downloaded the other day. It was 250 megabytes. I was just angry because normally it shouldn't be that long, it shouldn't be that heavy, but that's how big some data sets can be. And then project files, some will be zipped, some projects will come with accompanying files, so you need enough storage. And then for processor, I think anything from i5 is fine, i5 upwards is fine. And then you need stable internet. So that's what you need as far as your this thing is concerned. Okay, so Temitope, let me answer your question on building a portfolio. So tools to build a project portfolio is your normal tools: Excel, SQL, and Python. So those are your normal tools. That's what you need. So, and I will advise that you should have a project in Excel, you should have a project in Power BI, you should have a project in SQL, and let's say a project that combines at least two of these, where let's say you use SQL to pull and to query the database, and then you visualize it in either Power BI or Tableau or stuff like that. Then for GitHub, yes, that's a free place that you can upload your projects to. But lately, and I'm saying this as someone who even uses GitHub, I'm currently revamping my entire this thing, and that's because I realized that some recruiters, so it's not all companies that use a tech recruiter. If a company is not using a tech recruiter, they will not understand. There are some things they will not understand. Let's say now I want to employ a nurse. If you come to me now and I want to employ a nurse, I'll be too busy maybe looking at character. Let's say I'll be like, this one is like, her mouth is sharp, or is this how she'll be attending to my patients? I'll be looking at foolish things because I'm not a healthcare recruiter. But a core healthcare recruiter, we understand that sharp mouth is not what they look at. In fact, that sharp mouth may be needed. Do you see? So some companies are not tech recruiters, and if that company does not have a tech recruiter, I find out that some of them will not really understand how to use GitHub. So now I want to migrate all my this into either a website or use something like Notion. So you either use Notion or Canva. Even Canva has some nice templates. So you just link it, and then they can put it and make it eye-catching. Oh my god, that's another thing. Like, there are people who would literally fall in love with your portfolio because it's eye-catching. You know, we human beings were, notion of Canva is okay. We human beings were very visual. So there's a way your portfolio will be fine. People will like it. Even there's something called recruiter bias. Some recruiters have even confessed it. That if a fine girl appears in their front now, unless it's a total bad belle that is there, so we not ask her too much question. That's the fact, because human beings have bias. So treat your portfolio like your baby girl. Pamper her, wear her makeup, you know. Let your portfolio be nice. Explain your projects very well. You start with the problem statement or the executive summary, then you go to the problem statement and you know what you did, how you did it, the insights and the recommendation. So that's the way you structure it. All right, so peace, go ahead and ask your question.
I'm paying for Canva, I'm paying for CapCut, I'm paying for Claude, I'm paying for Notion, and some other apps that are necessary to this professional journey. So how do we now navigate it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I always want you to think in alternatives. Everything I want you to think in alternatives. Like when Temtope asked about what's it called? GitHub. When I mentioned Notion and Canva, those are alternatives. You don't have to use both. And always utilize the free version first. Make sure you exhaust all the options in the free version before you start thinking of paying. Like I also use Claude, but I don't pay for it. I'm willing to wait 5 hours, I swear. I don't pay for it. I don't pay. Presently, I don't pay for any tool. I'm not gonna lie. I don't pay for any tool. If I need it, highest I'll maybe look for somebody that can share it. Like currently, the CapCut that I'm using, I'm sharing it. I'm not the only one using it. So till you start making money, and this CapCut is because I even have a steady plug. So I've been using him for over a year now. And that one is just, since it's working well for me, they've not cut us, they've not banished us, so I'm still using it. So I want you to always think of free alternatives. So many, or there are always alternatives, trust me. Even before we did this Google Meet, for instance, I found out that Google Meet will time me out after 1 hour. That's when I learned that I can either use, there's another one, Jitsi Meet. That one was very confusing, I could not do it. Then I found out, how can I use this Google Meet, since everybody, at least we understand it. So they said I can generate 2 links. That's how I moved you people to this new link. I want you to always exhaust all your options, like exhaust it before you start thinking of spending. Because if you start spending and you've not started getting the returns, you'll be frustrated. You'll be very, very frustrated. So exhaust all your free options first. So if it's in terms of portfolio now, if it's not GitHub, don't bother with GitHub, to be honest. GitHub is good. You can have some projects there, but always use, let's say, the free version of Canva, there are free templates there, or Notion. You utilize the free this thing. Then for the AI tools, you can have up to 3. You can have Gemini, you can have Cloud, you can have what's it called? What's that other one? ChatGPT. So you don't be hopping from place to place. Yes, that means your information is scattered, but I'm sure our information is already scattered in this day and age. So you utilize them. If Claude is making you wait for 5 hours, you go to Gemini. If Gemini won't finish, you go to ChatGPT. That's how you'll be running it till you start making money, so that you will not be frustrated, you know. So that's just that. I don't know what you mean by outsourcing, if you want to clarify. But Esther is saying, what level of learning? Yeah, that's a beautiful question that to ascertain. So yeah, this is very tricky, but I'll try to answer it. When you can open a data set and you can analyze that data set with a certain tool, you are ready. So let me give an example. Now, if I give you a data set and I say you should use Excel to do it, once you can open it without being blank, you'll be like, yeah, it's with this. You just be looking at it like maybe somebody is speaking English to you. It's not looking like Japanese. Once you can look at it, that data set, and you know what to do with Excel, you are ready. You should be able to analyze data in Excel. Draw maybe a simple dashboard, you are ready. Don't wait till maybe you can, I don't know, draw elephants in Excel. I don't know the tricky things people are doing now. Don't wait till then. Then the same thing with SQL. Once you have one project in it, your level of readiness should be gauged by projects. That's why you cannot apply now without portfolio now. So once you can once you can do project, you have project in each of these, start applying. Because once you're applying like this, they'll be asking for your portfolio. They want you to walk them through what you have done. So once you've done any project in it, as you're learning Excel, you do a project in Excel. As you're learning Power BI, you do a project in Power BI. As you're learning SQL, you do a project. Once you have those 3 projects like this lined up, and you can communicate it effectively, you know what you did there, you can explain it when you are asked, you are good to go, start applying. That's it. So, and as you apply, you will still keep learning and you still keep practicing. But that's the cocoa. Once you have a project in it, you are good to go.